Today we're working on a Nissan Armada off-road. This one's got an oil leak among some other things. Probably going to clean up the bumper a little bit just for kicks and giggles because I can. The main thing, like I say, is the oil leak. So let's get in here and let's take a look at this thing. I've already pulled the pan down. That was just a matter of pulling 4 M6x1, 10mm head bolts off. You can see the little tabs like here. They're real easy to get to, real easy to get done, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. You're welcome. So when we look in here, you can see the oil filter. Now I've already staged and cleaned all of this. All of this, all of this. So bear in mind you're going to need probably some gloves, a drain pan, and you're going to also need a 22mm socket. I'll show you why here in just a second. And you're going to need to go to the store and get the oil cooler O-ring that's on the back side of this. So the first thing you do is get the oil filter off. If you need a special cup socket or whatever, this is a really easy job. You can do this at your house. So you get the oil filter off. You can use large channel locks and turn it to get it going free, or oftentimes it'll just come off by hand, which is great. We love that. It's wonderful. So wait for the oil to drain off. Make sure to have your oil catch container a little further this way, because that's going to come out with some momentum. Take a rag, wipe everything off, get an extension and a 22mm socket, get a ratchet. It's got to be a deep socket so it can go on over that. So the next thing we do is crack this free, get rid of the ratchet, and then go ahead and pull this back. Now these oil coolers, say you're an advanced mechanic and you're having oil pressure problems, don't overlook an oil cooler as a potential for blocked oil pressure. What the oil does is it goes through this cooler. You can see there's a pipe going into it and a pipe going out of it. I got that backwards, didn't I? Pipe going into it and a pipe going out of it with antifreeze. And then you've also got oil going through it this way. So coolant's going across it, oil's going this way, and there's different ports in there. It's made kind of sandwich style. There's all these layers that go in there. But what you see here is the O-ring, and this is where the oil leak was coming from. It may be that your oil leak was the oil filter. You check that, and if that's not it, it's usually this one. When you look at the back side of an oil filter, you can see that it's got the same kind of O-ring and same kind of setup where you got oil going through the bolt that I just pulled out. And then it's also going through these different holes. So same thing here, you got oil going through one and into the other for the oil cooler. So I take a dental pick. I'll put a link in the description on where you can find these dental picks. They're great to have around. You just hook that, pull it out. Take a rag, wipe out where it used to be so that there's no debris or anything to make it stand up. And then you take your new O-ring. And sometimes they won't be completely flat like this one was. This one was just completely, totally mushed, cooked, and done. Sometimes you'll have just a little lip on it. You can see that it sticks out just a little bit at the end on the uphill or left-hand side. So sometimes they'll be like that and they'll leak just a little bit. When you get them new, they should look about like this. Here's a new one from the dealership. And so we'll take this and put it in place. It should just kind of hold on its own by pressure if it's the right size. See, it's just kind of pushing out just a little bit all the way around on that. And next thing we do is take a rag, clean this surface just a little. You get some fresh clean oil and put it on there, which I don't even have any, do I? Doggone it. You get all set up for a video and you lose out. Well, I'll just take this oily glove and just wipe it around there. You want it to be able to move just a little bit so it doesn't bark or skip or come away from there. And so, next thing you do is you line up the bullseye. You look through this hole right here. Look at all that nasty, dirty stuff. There's past due for an oil change, that's for sure. So you look through here. Now, let's take a little tangent. Let's detour here just a second. Bear with me. This is good information. If your car's leaking oil and you keep putting more and more oil into it, that does not count as an oil change, nor does it count as a lube oil filter. Now what's the difference between all those, you ask? This is a beginning video, so I'm going to give a little beginning info, you know, so I gave some advanced info. But basically you're just putting more oil through it. But what about this guy? Remember this guy? If you're just adding oil, adding oil, adding oil, adding oil, you're not changing your filter. Your filter pulls out all the junk and the crud and the debris, right? Well, if it's still in there and gets too full, it'll go into bypass. And bypass is better than just clogging off and having no oil pressure. So once it goes into bypass, all that crud goes right back into the engine with a vengeance. So if you're going to be keeping adding oil, just do your oil change anyway. You know, don't be cheap, because if you're cheap, it's going to be the most expensive. Isn't that weird? Sometimes a shortcut takes longer because of brush or terrain or cliffs or whatever. So bear in mind, if you're doing the oil on your car because it's losing it and you're just adding oil but you're not changing the filter, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Okay, so here's this gasket. We're going to put this right back up in here. We got to balance it. If I jostle this all over and fight it, there's a good chance I'm going to knock this out. Now these stay in pretty good, as I just demonstrated, but you know, make sure that you're good. So I'm not touching the back side of this thing, and I'm looking through it like a bullseye. I can see the hole where that bolt goes. That hollow bolt, banjo bolt, oil filter bolt, whatever you want to call it. This guy. So take that and I gently put it in there and just kind of feel around. This isn't our first time putting a big bolt into a little hole like that. We know to go take it easy a little bit at first. Alright, so go to put this in there. Just thread it in by hand. Get it to where it's bottomed out. Now when you go to tighten this down, as well as when you go to loosen it, I probably could have given a little more information on that. I'm trusting you're watching the video all the way through before doing the job. This doesn't have a lot of height to it. And so as a result of that, you don't have a whole lot of surface area to grab onto. So when you go to loosen this, you need to be pushing the socket down against their flat. If it's crooked, it's going to strip it. If it's not held on good, it's going to strip it. If it strips it, I'm sorry, your life sucks now. You're going to have to find a way to get that off. One way you can do it is get a couple of nuts that fit onto here, tighten them onto each other, and then pull it off with those nuts in place. But these are hard to find. They're not small. I believe they're 16 by 1.25. 16 by 1.25. That's metric. So just push on it hard into it, flat, and so go ahead and snug it down, or break it loose, as the case may be. Break it loose may be more of an opportunity for failure than taking it off. You want to torque this down to factory specs. Get you a torque wrench, look it up in your manual. Otherwise, I'm going to snug it down until I feel the rubber crush, and then I feel the metal hit it. It starts to get a lot harder, and so then I take it about another, I'd say, you know, 20-30 foot-pounds. That's about it right there. So that's solid. That's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to leak. So the next thing you do is you just take your oil filter and put your new oil. This is a great time to change your oil, by the way. Put a new oil filter on there. I'm just doing this for the Hollywood effect of putting something on there, and you know, snug it down by hand. Don't make it hard for the next guy to take it off. Don't kill it, but don't leave it loose to where it's going to leak. So anyway, just snug that down. So anyway, guess what? I have an amazing beard right now. Okay, it's not totally amazing, but it's getting there. I'll show you. Check this out. Heard of Redbeard the Pirate. Well, how about Redbeard the Ski Viking? We're getting there. I've got a couple of resorts just open today, and so pretty excited about that. It's going to be probably another month or two before the one with my pass opens. I may pay through the nose for some crappy skiing elsewhere in the meantime. A little spring rock skiing. But by the time my resort opens, it's going to be fabulous. It's going to look so good. So I hope everybody quit watching mine now. They're all gone. But if you haven't subscribed already, why not? It's free. Click the subscribe button and you'll get a feed of all the videos that I put up. And you can also click on Brian's Mobile 1 in blue. And hey, that's me. You can watch some of my other videos, some of my older videos. Some of them are kind of bad, but they all have good information in them. So Click thumbs up if you like the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. Hey, and good luck on your Armada, right? Cheers.